Yes. Let's go. Okay, so this was our second section. We're going to go over to the third section right quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and erase the paragraphs. So section 3, Moses' mission. So this will be chapter 2, verse 23. Yes, sir.
Maybe putting your link to this at the top.
Okay.
Would be a good time.
Yes.
So we don't forget it.
Okay. Here it is, babe. Ready? So put SW Whittle.
Oh.
Larger letters, please.
Oh. Yes. Okay.
For the viewing audience, up high.
Oops.
It's SW Whittle. No, it's swwhittlestudybible.com/Exodus Introduction. Studybible.com.
What is forward slash? Oh, the slash that's forward.
Yeah, that's why it's called / Exodus Introduction. And if you want to jump to the exact spot,
that's enough. That's enough.
Just scroll down on it, and there's a section on the page. It says Exodus outline. It's right there. Okay. There's also a link at the top of the page. It'll just jump it down to Exodus outline. You don't have to put it on there. Okay. So Moses' mission goes to chapter 4.
You said 2.
It starts at chapter 2. 23 to 4. And
chapter 4?
Yes, chapter 4, 31. This contains a total of 7 components. We have 6 paragraphs and then an introduction. So put the historium. The historium. Semicolon. God's in his heaven. God's in his heaven. By the way, what I'm sharing with you, I got this from a Jew. The greatest Jewish scholar of the 20th century. Okay? God's in his heaven.
Is it like through the podcast or?
No. The book. Okay? That's chapter 2, verses 23 and 23 through 25. Let me ask you guys, okay? While she's writing this up here and while you're taking your notes. In this section, we have the whole encounter with the burning bush, all of that. What was in the burning bush?
What was in the burning bush?
Flame of fire?
Oh, something was in the middle in the shape of an 8. It was,
No, not according to Torah. That may be a rabbinical thing, and I haven't read that. So I'm not going to say no, but that's not what I'm referring to. Because the text says that God spoke to him.
God was in it.
Nope.
Something was in it, and it was in the shape of an 8 that the fire kept going, right?
That I think you're thinking about Abraham and the
Isaac?
No, Abraham and the covenant of the pieces, where he cut the animals.
Oh, yes, yes.
And
Yes, you're right. Wrong story.
Did a good job with it, Scotty.
what's that?
Yeah.
That?
One. There's a little oddball thingies there, but
Yeah, because it was so long, I had to.
yeah, whatever happens, I'm sure you'll figure it
Okay,
out.
so what was it then?
The angel of the Lord.
Was in the bush? The angel of the messenger?
The missing.
Psalms tells us, and we're later told that it is the angel of the Lord that's in the bush. But the way it reads, it seems as if it's God in the bush because he speaks in first person pronouns. Why is that? Because when a messenger from God comes, the messenger, always speaks in first person pronouns as if he's God. But he's not God. In the ancient world, when a messenger is sent from the king, when he speaks, it is as the king is speaking. So that messenger will speak in first person I pronouns. I, the Lord, said. In Ezekiel, you'll see that he starts his off with, thus saith the Lord. But when angels are the messengers, it would always sound like God is the one speaking, but it is an angel. You'll find that when Abraham went to sacrifice Isaac, that it was the angel of the Lord that called out to him, and it says, and the voice of God. But if you'll read the text will tell you it is the angel of the Lord. But Abraham recognizes it as the voice of God.
Wow.
Something free. Okay, paragraph 1. Okay, the Tiffany. Tiffany. So this is a Tiffany is a scholarly word, okay, which means like something that represents God. A Tiffany, okay, a Tiffany. It means something that represents God, and that's what we're talking about. The angel of the Lord. People will misread it like I know when I was in the Christian church, it was always taught that God was in the bush. But God was not the one in the bush. It was the angel that was in the bush. Okay?
Tiffany on the what?
Yeah.
On the mount.
Oh, the Tiffany on Mount Horeb. She'll write it. Hold on just a second. She can't read.
Sound right. It sounds like I'm a 5th grader that can read.
No, it's small on my screen. So it is on them. It was about like this tall, and she's like, "What is that?" Okay, the Tiffany on Mount Horeb, chapter 3, the first 15 verses, 1 through 15. The second paragraph. The second paragraph is a very interesting paragraph. The instructions. Chapter 3, verse 16 through 22. Instructions. You like that, Daniel?
It's a lot of work, bro.
I will tell you, while she's doing this, let me tell you the story of this. When I was in the Christian church, I believe that God laid it in my heart to design a Bible. That's where this came from. I was going to call it the Whittle Study Bible. Everybody who has a Bible, they put their name on it. So I was like, I'm just going to put my name on it. Right.
You're going to be a Westcott Hort guy eventually.
Say what?
West Scott and Port.
Okay.
Right.
So this started out as that, and I've owned this for so long. But when I came to this side, I really struggled with this because it seemed like self-promotion. I really struggled with it, and I've actually asked people to help me write, and they won't do it because it's my name.
So?
It's my name. They don't want to do it, and it was like, well, that's kind of counter-Jewish to put your name on it. And I was like, no. I was like, go and look at all the Humashes. Somebody's name's on the Humash. So that's where this comes from, the S.W. Whittle Study Bible. These are literally just my studies. That's all they are. That's all it is. It's just a central hub for me to put my stuff. But this that I'm teaching you, I studied this about 2 years ago. Okay? So, third paragraph. Moses' doubts and how they were resolved. This is very important because here, this is where Moses begins to offer excuse to God. Okay? Go back and read it and count how many times he offered excuse and see how God counters those excuses. Because according to the rabbis, these are excuses. Listen to what I'm saying. According to the rabbis, these excuses is a part of the reason that Moses could only see the promised land.
He didn't enter it.
That's all right. That's okay. Okay, paragraph 4. P4. Moses' journey. Moses' journey. 4 through 18 and 23. 4, verse 18 through 23. Okay, 5th paragraph. Love you guys. Be safe.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Great to see you.
Yeah. We'll see you Friday, I think, right?
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and
The
Friday.
encounter at the lodge.
That'd be the plan.
4. This one, the 5th paragraph, okay? Bye. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
The 5th paragraph is an oddity. Okay? Because this is where Zipporah circumcises his son. Okay? And even in the Hebrew, it's vague. It's hard to understand. Because it seems that God is coming to kill Moses in the English translation. And Zipporah saves his life by circumcising his son and throwing the circumcision at his feet. It's one of the strangest stories because there's no context to this story. Like people are confounded by this story. Like, what is the purpose of this story? To this day, this story is a mystery.
Okay, so can you repeat that again on that verse?
Yes, so the encounter at the lodging place, that's chapter 4, verses 27 through 31. What takes place here is Moses and his family is moving back to Egypt. And they stop, and God comes in, and the way the English reads, God is going to kill Moses, is the way the English translations read. Zipporah sacrifices the son, circumcises the son because he's uncircumcised. And she throws the circumcision at his feet, and it says that God's anger is stayed. God removes himself. It's a weird story. It's a very weird story.
So God was gonna actually kill Moses?
That's the way the English reads. In the Hebrew, it reads that he was going to kill the child.
Oh,
But she threw it at his feet as if Moses did it. Like, here, I did it for you.
Well, see, that's some of the stuff that is the commentary around it. Some of the commentary around it is that Zipporah refused to circumcise her son.
Oh.
And when God came in to destroy him, that's when she cut it and threw it at Moses' feet. And look at what she says to him. Look at what she says. Read it. Somebody read it. She says something about this.
26, right?
Yeah. She says something about the blood or something. This blood between you and I or something like that.
Bridegroom of blood.
Yes.
Verse 26.
Verse 26. Somebody read it. Go ahead, Ramon, read that.
So he let him go. Then she said, "You are a bridegroom of blood because of the circumcision."
It's really weird. That's what I'm saying. This whole section right here is really weird and obscure.
426?
Yes. So when you're reading and you're like, what's going on here? I'm telling you now, don't come and ask me. Because I just told you everything I know about it. It's a weird, obscure. The rabbis talk about how it's a strange thing. Like it doesn't fit anything that we understand or know. Like, what does that phrase really mean? There's no reference to that phrase anywhere else.
You are a
Bridegroom of blood to me.
Why does that sound so weird?
because of the circumcision.
Because it is.
Like,
Yeah,
we have a covenant, and covenant sometimes is blood covenant, right?
Well, the circumcision is definitely there. So,
Like, don't Indians like cut themselves and do like a covenant, like between them?
oh, blood covenants exist in all societies. Yes. Yes.
But that's not what she meant, or what does she mean?
We don't know what she meant.
That's what I'm telling you. It's an obscure thing. We don't know what it really is. I mean, there may be. Do you have something in commentary there? Yeah. I mean, Rabbi's got a commentary right in front of him, and there's nothing in there about it. That's what I'm telling you. It's obscure. It's strange. It's completely like off the wall. What are you looking for? The verse?
The one, yeah, the verse you just read.
426.
426. Yes, ma'am. Okay? So I just wanted to point that out to you because when you're really studying Torah in its context, there are some oddities. There are some things that's like there's really no explanation for it. This is one of those things. It's like Moses' name. How does an Egyptian name carry a Hebrew meaning? It's a weird thing. These are two real oddities in the Moses' story. Okay? Okay, so number 7.
There's a 7?
Yes. It's the...
It's 6th paragraph.
Oh, you beat me.
I know.
So, the 6th one is Moses and Aaron before the children. This is where they go before the children of Israel. And 4:27 through 31. This is where they began to redo the things that God had done for them. The staff turning into a serpent. In the Hebrew, it doesn't. Anyway, I'll leave that alone. I'll leave it alone. Maybe Rabbi will touch on that next week.
Rabbi could touch on it now.
Rabbi's shaking his head. No, I got him looking at some stuff over here now. Okay? Any questions on this stuff? Okay? There, again, this is an outline for you to go and look, okay, what is this that Moses doubts and they're solved? All of this is really personal. Like this stuff, you can apply all of this stuff to the things that you question God about. How Moses questioned God. Why me? I stutter. I'm this. I'm that.
I'm sorry, I'm still on the other thing. So in the commentaries, is there anything regarding that portion that you spoke about right now, the 26th?
Angie, I just shared everything I found on it.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm saying. It's
Oh.
very obscure. The only thing I ever found is that they're saying that she refused to circumcise the child. And when God came in to kill the child, she circumcised it. She wouldn't allow Moses to circumcise it. That's what the rabbis say. That's the only thing I found about this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you're talking about context, like there's no context to it. Where it fits in, where it's written, what it's talking about, we don't even know what that phrase means. You're a bridegroom of blood to me. It's a weird Hebrew phrase.
Well, would it still be considered kosher even though it's not done by your father?
Kosher's food.
Okay, well, like, like holy, clean.
Okay, you're looking at today's standards.
Okay,
You can't judge this based on today's standards.
right, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Okay? Everything that you're asking is halacha. Halacha came later.
Okay.
This is pre-halacha.
Got it, thank you.
Okay? Don't worry about it. If y'all don't know what it is, don't worry about it. Okay? People were looking at me like, what? It's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay? Now, we're going to go over our final section, which is for this Torah portion. Okay? And this is just section 4. Section 4.
Back to work.
Back to serving.
To serving?
Yes, you're serving.
I'm a server?
That's the highest position you can have in the kingdom. There you go. If you want to leave the P1, 2, 3, you can do that. So, you don't
Oh,
have
no,
to- so don't jump ahead.
In the kingdom, it's the opposite, Bethany.
Yeah, I heard that too.
In the kingdom, the lowest position is the highest position. It's the opposite.
I don't know if that's supposed to be like a compliment.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
What you need to worry is, you better get there. That's what you need to worry. Don't worry about the position. Worry about how I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
When you're there, it's all irrelevant. You're there.
Right?
Okay, part 4.
I can show you that story.
Section 4. The first attempt and its failure.
Section 4. First attempt.
And its failure. Now, why this is interesting is because God told Moses that the Pharaoh would resist his claims to let the children go. What God never told him is that the situation for the children was going to deteriorate. And that's what this section is dealing with. Because every time Moses goes, like, he starts taking stuff away. And he makes the labor hard. Okay, you have to make the same amount of bricks, and I'm not giving you hay. You got to go collect the straw and still maintain the number of bricks. Every time Moses and Aaron went before the Pharaoh's edicts made it harder and harder and harder.
Why is that? Don't give me that smile, just tell me.
Okay, listen. I'm going to answer it,
Okay.
but you got to figure it out.
No, that's not even.
Listen. Remember what the children have to go through what the patriarchs went through. Abraham's 10 trials.
Oh, the blessing comes, the trial, and then the obedience.
No,
and then the blessing.
the word is spoken, then it's acted upon, and then either a blessing or another promise comes. In this case, you see that sequence repeat. God speaks, Moses speaks, boom, it deteriorates. They go back to Moses. Moses comes back and says, God says this. God says this. God says this. So it's a constant reaffirming of God saying this, even though the situations are getting worse, worse, and worse. There's just a confirmation of, no, this is the promise. This is the promise. And it just kept deteriorating. The 10 trials are exactly like that for Abraham. Each trial was worse than the trial before.
Oh my goodness.
And that's exactly the way this is. How many plagues are there?
10.
How many trials?
10.
See how it ties? The numbers.
Will you consider the commandments too?
Yeah. Okay? Answer your question?
Yes.
Didn't like the answer, huh?
No.
Okay. Okay, the first attempts and its failures, chapter 5 and 1 through 6 and 1. So what's the first paragraph? Moses and Aaron stands before the Pharaoh. This is chapter 5, verses 1 through 5. Now this is, well, I'll let, that's in that. Pharaoh, chapter 5, 1 through 5. Okay. Second paragraph, edict upon edict. Edict upon edict. And this is chapter 5, verses 6 through 9. The third paragraph, the new burden imposed on the people. I think Rabbi,
Thank you.
I think Rabbi brought this up the last time, or recently, about when Moses and Aaron goes before the Pharaoh. This will be in next week's lesson. How many times each staff was used? Because there are two staffs that are used. There's the staff of Aaron that is used, and then there's the staff of Moses that's used. It's a very interesting concept. Okay?
Why is it like that?
Because you wrote it like that. Okay? The next one is the new burden imposed on the people. I know she's writing really small. The new burden imposed on the people. The fourth paragraph, the complaint of the foreman. Now, remember we was talking earlier about how in Judaism, the idea that the greatest enemy of the Jew is the Jew. These foremen that were over the Jews
We're Jews.
they were Jews.
Hebrews. They were Hebrews.
Yes.
They were not Jews.
Yeah, Hebrews.
We weren't there yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Good catch. Thanks.
Is
You're
that
welcome.
15 then?
That's 15 through 19,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Your writing is good.
We don't have cup.
Sorry. It's
Yes.
I have a question. Okay, so the Hebrews at that time, they were mixed.
No. This is where the mixed multitude comes from.
Okay.
That's why I was talking about the maidens, the handmaidens. If they're Egyptians, for the very first time, we have a blending with them.
What do you mean
Keyword.
mix?
Keyword. Yeah.
What do you mean mix?
The
So-
people that left Egypt, there was a bunch of other tribes from other, not just Egyptians, other
Nations.
peoples that all joined and hooked up. And those are the same people that screwed up at the
As
golden calf.
they go through the wilderness, like certain nations in the wilderness will begin to join the children of Israel.
So-
Caleb actually comes from one of those. He's not a Jew, he's not a Hebrew by birth.
So you have a congregation and then you have the witnesses. So you have those differences that are occurring in that text. You have a kahal and you have an adut.
Okay, so paragraph
It's a big
5.
difference.
The encounter with Moses
It's a
and
little
Aaron.
chapter, just
We got one more paragraph and then we'll go ahead and do Havdalah.
The encounter of what?
Moses and Aaron.
The encounter with Moses and Aaron. And it's only 2 verses. Chapter 5, verses 20 through 21. chapter 5, 20 through 21. Okay. Then the 6th paragraph, Moses' reminiscence. R-E,
Demonstrates.
I think it's supposed to be demonstrates. I need to change the R to be demonstrates. And the Lord's reply. No.
No.
Write it up there. REMONSTRANCE. And the Lord's reply. This is where Moses goes to God and complains about the hardship getting hard. Like, you told me to do this, and it got worse for the people. How did God reply to that complaint? Right? Then through 6 and 1. This is the end of our Torah portion today.
Boy, barely made it.
I know. Okay, guys?
Alright.
Love you. Bye. Are there any questions about our Torah portion? I just hit highlights, but what my point here is like I said, many of you don't know Hebrew, but this will begin to give you a Hebrew concept in the English. How it's structured. What's your question?
So now everybody left you.
I know.
I know.
Yeah.
All of the true faithfuls are here. All of the true faithfuls.
Right.
You know?
Oh God, here we go again.
What's that? It's all good. The truth of the matter is I did not expect the crowd to be this large. Right?
I didn't. Neither did I.
You know, so the fact that people were here, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Yeah. I meant to do something. Now I have to apologize. I really wanted to dedicate this study in the memory of Paul.
Oh.
It's okay, you just did.
You know? So, in Jewish traditions, when they do teachings, they will dedicate teachings to the memory of those that have passed on.
You can add that in the website.
Yeah, I could. So, especially since his family was here.
Yes.
You know? And so, maybe. I think her back was hurt. She didn't bring her chair this time. Neither did. No, I don't think she had her chair. So, anyway, guys, any questions on this? Any thoughts?
No.
I hope you enjoyed it.
We did.
Yeah, I just had the question on the blood of the bridegroom. I was reading it this morning and I'm like, I don't understand it.
Nobody understands it. So welcome to the family, baby.
Welcome to the party.
Okay, and that's a great. And this is what I was telling. What is Mark's daughter? Stephanie is like the truth of the matter is when you study. And this is why I said, I've been in this for 10 years and I feel like I know nothing. Because once you learn something, there's a ton of questions that come with that. And you realize, yeah, I got one answer, but now I got 10 more questions to the one answer that I just got.
Something like that.
Okay? It's supposed to be that way, guys. I don't want you to get discouraged and feel like I'm never going to get it. It's built that way. Yes, that's why it's year to year. That's what Nancy just said. If you're reading the Torah portion saying it's the same stuff, then you're doing something wrong.
Yep, for sure.
Okay? You're doing something wrong. Because the idea is that each year you build precept upon precept. Like I said, I did this 3 years ago.
That was good because it was basic. It was like brand new, like we've never heard it before. the teaching. I mean, we've heard, but not that way.
But now that you've got what you got, go back and pick one of them and read the text and see if it doesn't take on new meaning to you. Because now you can cherry pick and say, I want to read the 4th paragraph. What is this? And you can study just that part. You know, I want to study this part. That was my whole purpose in giving it to you. Because it's like, you want me to read 6 chapters? Okay, pick a part and study that part. Okay? Start somewhere.
Then again, if you say start somewhere, let's say for example you start on 2,
Yeah.
paragraph 2, but then you won't get the full picture until you go back and you start again. Yes.
It's the whole point, Tom, to get them studying. Find something that interests you, and naturally there's going to be, well, what's this before it? What's this after it? Yeah, that's the whole point, just to get started. But also, those are for the beginners. For those that say they know this, now you can cherry pick and say, hey, you know when Moses was making the excuses? Let me look at that. What were the excuses? What were the answers to the excuses? What was the consequence?
And you can go back to that scripture where it says bridegroom of the blood and dissect it. No.
There's nothing there, Mom. That's what I'm saying. I've studied it. There's nothing there.
In the Hebrew, nothing.
It's a weird statement. Like, it's like, what is this?
Where did it come from?
There's no...
Lazy thinking.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
The best way to put it, it's a mystery. And to be honest, that may be the thing that unlocks everything else. Once we gain that understanding, that may be what unlocks the understanding for the redemption.
But obviously it's important because it's in there.
But God's hid the meaning of it. And here's the thing, as when we were in the Christian church, it was always, no, it has to have a meaning, we have to understand it. Judaism is, no, beauty is in the mystery.
Yeah, heck yeah.
The things that we don't know that make us go.
There's more of that in life anyway than absolutes.
Yeah,
Like, I know.
yeah.
Hence the word faith
You see?
or faithfulness.
Faithfulness. What were you going to say, Sonia?
I was gonna say that these outlines would be, absolutely wonderful to have during the time we're supposed to be studying and reading our parshas.
So right there they are.
You have it
They're
now.
gonna be before we come every Shabbat,
It's there.
they will be before.
Yeah, it's posted there. I've got the whole book right there.
Okay,
I've got all 3 sections. I've got all the sections.
good.
Everything's there. So I'm trying to give you a tool. I'm trying to give you a tool.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay? Yes. Any other questions?
No.
You need a publisher.
I'll be your publisher.
The challenge here for the next Sunday is
See
that
that?
they're gonna have to strengthen their discipline.
Yes.
Because if they're not disciplined, anything that you give them, it's all for naught.
Yeah.
All the information that we have, all the books that we have, all the time that we invest into it, if they don't go back and they study it, it's all for naught.
Yeah.
Basically. Just like you said, when I was doing the gematria on the names today, it was a mind-boggling to me because I had never done the gematria on the names. And I started doing it, and I said, wow, this is very interesting.
Yes.
So, we have to be disciplined, and unfortunately, we lack discipline.
Yes. Ramon, you have any questions? And don't ask me about the blood of the bridegroom, because I don't know, brother.
It was just that one.
That was it right there.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
It's all the way over here.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
We did.
Very, very.